Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for yoga on YouTube. Glad you could make it today. Today's practice we're going to be incorporating power into our movement. So you can take this to whatever degree works for you, and we're just going to get right into it with our movement. If you like to start your practice with a little bit more of a meditative beginning or breath, you can definitely push pause and do that, and then come in, and we're just going to be going right into the movement part of our practice today. Roll your shoulders back and open. Come to the top of your mat. Lift up through your kneecaps. Spiral the thigh bones in. Find that strong mountain posture that you start from and that you come back to at the end of each sequence. Inhale to lift, scoop up the air. And exhale to dive down. Relax into the first forward fold of the practice today. You can look ragdoll a little bit. Feel your way into that pose. Inhaling to expand into the belly, into the sides, the low back. Just feel that breath expand through that wide belt. Keeping the toes spread out, keeping the legs strong. Inhale halfway. Exhale back down into your forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Lifting tall. Exhale, open into your mountain, lifting the spine up. Inhale to lift. Exhale and dive. Drop the chin. If you need to shake your head out, you can. If you'd like to, you can hold the elbows and frame out that face. One more breath here. Releasing any hold you might have. Inhale halfway. Exhaling back down. Inhale all the way up. Lifting tall. Exhale into that strong mountain, strong from the top of the head down through the feet. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, diving down. Drop the chin. Inhale halfway. Big spine extension, extend the tailbone back. Exhale, framing out the feet. Take the right foot, step it back into a big lunge. Taking our time with this first time through our sun salutation. Just using the first cycle through this sequence to just feel into that body, into the joints. Feel where you're at. You need to add some movement here. You can add some circles, like you're drawing a circle with the top of your knee. Keeping that breath moving. Planting the palms, step into your plank on your toes or on your knees. So either way is fine. Take 3 breaths here. As you breathe, firming up your stance. Feeling the muscles begin to engage and support your frame. Feel that active push away from the floor through the palms. And as you exhale, come down to the mat in Chaturanga. Really good control. Press the toenails to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra. Roll the shoulders back and open. Lightly push those toenails to the mat. Floating the hands if you'd like. And if you have room, you can interlock your fingers behind your head and lift back heart once more. Really feel the low back muscles fire up. Lifting the elbows to the ceiling, release that. Plant the palms right next to the ribs. Inhale, pressing up any amount into a cobra. Sending the heart forward. Finding some space and distance between the ears and shoulders. Index fingers firm. Inhale your toes under. Exhale, peeling up into our first downward dog in our practice. You can pedal that out a little bit. Feel where those calves are at tonight, where the hamstrings are. Really strong extension from the palms of the hands all the way up the arms, all the way up the spine, fanning the sits bones open. Use your exhale to draw the belly button in.
Little sway of the hips, right to left. Side body stretch down the right and then the left. Take your time, feeling again where you're at tonight through this first sun salutation. And eyes look forward. Take your right foot and step it up. Left foot stays back. And so now we're on the other side of the body. Finding that tall lunge so you can rearrange your feet if you need to. Take the shoulders down the back. Belly button pulls up and into the body. Just feeling into this pose, feeling where you're at, holding your weight evenly in that front foot. And if you want to take those circles with your knee, your front knee, just feel like you're drawing a circle with the top of your knee. See where your joints are at on this side of the body. Breath is still moving. And then taking your back foot, stepping all the way forward into a forward fold, releasing the neck and shoulders, spread out through the toes. Take a deep inhale all the way up. Nice and tall, exhale into your mountain. Really wide across those shoulders, collarbones are extending long to the side walls. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to dive down, dropping the chin. Inhale halfway. Exhale into your plank. You can step or you can hop to get there. Taking a breath and exhale through your chaturanga. Inhale, scooping upward into your cobra. Upward dog if you feel warm. It's on the tops of the feet. Exhale, peeling into your downward facing dog. Feel the heart drop down between the shoulders. Feel the thigh bones spiraling in a little bit in the hip sockets. Adding a little tiptoe here. Inhaling to lift up tall. And then exhale to sink the heels back down toward the mat. Do 2 more breaths. Just rolling through the arches of the feet, letting those heels settle. And from here, lift way, way, way up, and then bend the knees. Let the toes, the base of the toes, really connect to the mat. And if you want, you can pick up your right foot and float. And then replace that, either both feet, or if you'd like to pick up that left foot and float. Just letting that right foot get a little extra. And replacing that, extending up, and then lowering all the way to a tabletop. Just warming up through the wrists a little bit before we continue on with our practice. So just taking some circles here. Fingers are spread out really wide. And you just want to add some hula hoop circles, like you're tracing a big hula hoop, and just letting those wrists go along for that movement. So you can make it larger, smaller. Go the other direction, allowing those wrists to get some range of motion with some weight-bearing elements. Keeping the knuckles connected. Just feeling through that rotation. And then have a seat. Interlock your fingers, roll that out a little bit. This time taking your fingers and pointing them away from each other. Right underneath your hands are right underneath the shoulders and knees are right underneath the hips. And then from here, nice and easy, take your time, little shift of your weight right to left. Navel still pulls in. Mindful of how the wrists feel. So you can be like a little uncomfortable, but it shouldn't be painful. If something is painful, then you should just back yourself away from that pose. And then release out of that. This time, turning your hands so your fingers point toward your knees. Your hands are backwards. Now this might be a very intense stretch right there, And if that's where you're at, then just stick right there. Take a couple breaths. Rolling those shoulders down the back. If you would like to add a little more, then start to sit your weight back through the hips. Really slow, take your time. And you can just kind of rock into and out of that wrist stretch. If you are extremely flexible with your wrists and you can sit your hips way, way back, you can increase a little bit by trying to also peel the heels of the hands off the mat. So just figure out where you're at. And then finish through your breath cycle, release out of that. Come on up, you can roll those shoulders out. A little bit of wrist circles. So getting these nice and warm. When we do any kind of like planks or any other body weight bearing arm movements, arm balances, it's nice to have that warmed up wrist area before you get into the meat and potatoes of your practice. Extend those hands back into your tabletop, tuck your toes, and extend right back up into that downward dog. And then from here, slide into your plank. Take a breath. Exhale, move through your chaturanga. Inhale up into your cobra or your upward dog. Exhale into your downward facing dog. Eyes look forward, step or hop into your forward fold. Spreading out through your toes. Inhale up into chair. So you can sit as low as you'd like in chair, as high as you'd like in chair, with those arms. Your hands can be wherever they need to be. Figure out where you're at today. Activate those muscles. Keep it strong. This is a really active posture. So we're pressing the feet to the mat. We're pushing to the midline of the body. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, diving down, long spine. Inhale up into your chair. One more time. Take 3 breaths here, so strong. Pressing the feet firm, cinching that belt in tight. Last one. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, back to your mountain. Inhale to lift. Exhale, dive down into your plank. You can step or hop. Take a breath. Exhale, moving through. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Reverse that into your downward dog. Push through those arms. Inhale your right leg way up. And then exhale, slide into your plank, 3-leg plank. Inhale, extend. And then 3-leg plank. Draw those shoulders right on top of the wrists. 2 more times. Trying to keep the hips square. Keep squeezing from your right glute to keep that toe extending to the back wall. Last one. Take a breath. Chaturanga, 3-leg chaturanga. 3-leg upward dog if you can. And then 3-leg downward dog. And if you need to put that foot down for a second like I did, that's fine. Right into that 3-leg dog. Exhale, stepping forward, find a lunge. Firm up through the feet. Inhale, airplane those arms. If you can keep those arms in an airplane, you can streamline. Push strong through that back foot, power lunge. If you can, extending forward. And from here, lowering that back knee just barely to the mat and then exhaling up. 3 and 2. Exhale, navel pulls in, reach tall. And 1. And take a giant step forward, lifting up. And draw that knee through. So if you need to kind of haul it up or take breaks, whatever you need to do. So from here, you can keep your hands on your hips if you'd like. Try to keep your knees stationary and just use that lower leg, that foot to stir a pot. Building some fire in that quad, other direction. Belly button pulls in. And then if you can, extend long. So long. If you can flex through that foot, do it. Inhale, reach. Exhale, turn the shoulders. Belly pulls in, so we're just rotating around, rolling that heart to the side. See if you can lift a little higher through those toes. And then extending back into a 3-point stance, standing split. So if you are in a full split, great. And if you're not, that's fine. You can extend as much as you can. You can use your hands on the mat or on blocks to help you to draw yourself into that split. Take one more breath here. And then from here, just finding warrior 3. Bring your hands to heart center. Reaching long. And if you can, bending both knees. Inhale. Exhale, push and extend. 3. And 2. And 1. Inhale all the way back up. And exhale, release out of that. Sweep out through your standing leg. I know it was doing a lot of work. And we're going to just balance that out on the other side. Top of your mat. I'm going to do my best to remember what we just did. Roll the shoulders open. Lift yourself tall. As you exhale, reconnect with those bandhas, that zipped up core. Find that strength. Take a big breath up. Exhale, diving down all the way into your plank, stepping or hopping. Taking a breath here. Move through your chaturanga. Inhale to your cobra or upward dog. Reverse that, if you can, into a downward dog. And if you can't, just go into your downward dog. Take your left leg. Inhale, way up. Keep the hips square. Slide into a 3-leg plank. And again, reach and extend. As you slide forward, belly button pulls in. We're locking and knitting the ribs to the hips. We're drawing the heels of the hands toward the toes. So powerful. Activating the fingers to the mat. One more time. Take a breath, keeping that extension through the big toe. Exhale, chaturanga, 3-leg chaturanga. Inhale, 3-leg cobra, upward dog. Exhale to your 3-leg downward dog. Taking a breath. And exhale, stepping through, finding your lunge. Feet are about hip distance apart. Once your feet feel stable, airplane those arms. Equal reach forward through that front shin, back through the back foot. Shoulders are down the back. We're lifting our weight off of that thigh bone. And from here, big step forward. Into that standing posture. Bring your hands to your hips. And then keeping that knee as still as you can, just stirring with that lower shin and foot. Stir the pot, start to build some fire in that right quad. Keep your heart lifted. Let's switch directions. Heart is lifted, belly pulls in, rib to hip connection. And then extend, flex through that foot. Inhale, sweep up, so strong in those arms. Exhale over your right shoulder. Turn that heart, so just moving those lungs around the heart. Reach long in each direction, lift up through those toes. Breathe. And then switching to your standing split. Reach and extend. Hands to the mat or to your blocks. As you exhale, reaching as long as you can through that extended leg, using your hands on the blocks or on the mat to draw yourself further into your pose. Radiating, getting longer through that floating foot. And from here, exhale, coming up into warrior 3. Touch down if you need to. Hands to heart center. Square up to the mat. Find a spot for your gaze. You can stay here if you'd like. Inhale to bend. Exhale to extend. So strong. Shoulders down the back. 3 and 2 and 1. Inhaling all the way up. Exhale to release out of that and sweep out through that standing leg. Oh my goodness. Nice work. I'm going to grab a drink. You can grab a drink if you need one. Come up to the top of your mat. Roll those shoulders back a few times. Spread out through your toes. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, dive down, long spine into your plank. Take a breath and move through your chaturanga. Inhale, lift up into your cobra, your upward dog. Exhale, back into your downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg way up. Exhale, draw that across the body. Let's do 3 more. Shoulders stay strong away from the ears. 2. And last one. And from here, if you want to, you can extend that pinky out for just a moment. See if you can play around with the angle here. Play in your pose of driving the shoulders down the back, flexing through that floating foot, squaring up the hips and shoulders as you rotate the hips. Releasing out of that, inhale up, exhale, step forward into your lunge one more time. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, interlock your fingers behind the base of the skull. Open the elbows behind you. Send the heart forward. And from here, a little lower if you'd like. Inhale, exhale, lift. 3, 2, staying so tall, and 1. Pivoting into a warrior 2. So finding that open elbow, lining up the front heel with the arch of the back foot. Hips and shoulders square up. So you can release out of this at any time, but we're trying to just open through those shoulders. And if you have room to go into a side angle here, open the heart to the ceiling. So we're rolling that heart open. And then open that up. Hand can be either on a block or on the mat. Side angle, tail tucks. From here, inhale, back up into your warrior 2. Option to lift that front heel. Open those shoulders. Knee presses wide. Gazing down that arm, we're lifted up tall as we breathe. One more time. Lowering through that heel, take it down to the mat, framing out your foot, stepping back into your plank. Toes your knees, take a breath, move through your chaturanga. Inhale to lift. Exhale, back into your downward facing dog. Take that left leg this time, inhaling up. Exhale across the body. And again, keeping that strength in the arms, keeping that stability in the shoulders, finding that right heel melting to the mat. Exhale, navel pulls in. One more breath. And this time, hovering in your plank with that rotation, option to extend that heel or that blade of the foot out. And then you can kind of play around with, again, where you're holding your body, trying to square the hips up or square the shoulders up as the hips rotate. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Feel the strength in those shoulders. Releasing out of that, inhale to lift. Exhale forward into a lunge. Finding that lunge, finding your feet. Inhale, lifting so tall. Exhale, interlocking the fingers. Roll those shoulders back and open. Imagine your back of your head and your elbows and shoulder blades are all touching a wall behind you. Inhaling down for 3 and 2. Navel pulls in, get taller and taller. And 1, sending that heart forward. Finding warrior 2 here. Turning, finding your feet. Lining up that front heel with the arch of the back foot.
Shoulders are really wide. Draw yourself up tall, send that knee nice and wide. And then from here, if you have room, taking it to your side angle, roll the heart open, open, open. Tail still is tucked under. Lots of good breath. And when you're ready, releasing out of that into a side angle. Stack the shoulders right on top of left. Sinking into those legs. That back leg is strong. And from here, coming back up into your warrior two. Gazing down the middle of the arm, finding that zipped up core. Option to add that heel. So as you're here, just sending that knee nice and wide, turning the hips and shoulders to the long edge of the mat, really letting that left hip open up, letting that back leg be strong. As you exhale, lower your heel, cartwheeling back down, stepping into your plank, taking a breath, moving through your chaturanga. Inhale up, exhale into your downward facing dog. Oh boy, eyes look forward. And taking a big breath, you can either step or hop into your forward fold. And just take a moment here, let your upper body be loose and relaxed. Spread out through your toes. Take a deep inhale as you build up your spine. Stacking each vertebrae one on top of another. Shoulders roll back and open. Oh, good job. We have one more sequence to go through. Today is a shorter practice, and we're just going to be going through one more power sequence. And we're going to be having some stepping or hopping options. So you can do either. Anytime there's a hop or a step, you can just pick the one that you want to add into that part of your practice. Spread out your toes. Lift up tall. Open across the shoulders. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, diving down into your plank. And from here, taking this to your feet being mat width apart. So from here, you can either walk, step halfway to your hands, and then back, right, left. Again, breathe, step halfway in, and then back. If you would like to add a hop option, hop in, hop back. So we'll do about 4 cycles here. Either stepping or hopping, keeping the upper body stable. And taking a breath, move through a chaturanga. Inhale to lift, feet stay wide. Exhale, wide foot, downward facing dog. And then just take your feet about a foot length forward. So taking a step forward. Let that heart melt down. And then take that right hand, thread through to the outside of your left leg, anywhere on your left leg. And then rotate the ribs. Again, just wrapping the lungs around the heart there. Just gazing past your arm. Take one more breath. Releasing that out, planting your palm. Taking a breath, exhale, switch sides, thread the needle. Find a spot for your hand. If you're lower on your leg, if you're grabbing closer to your foot, that's going to give you greater rotation. You can play around with how far your hands are from your feet if you need to. Just inhaling, extending that spine on the inhale, rotating on the exhale. Take one more breath. And release into that downward facing dog. Back into your normal stance, feet stay wide. Eyes looking forward, stepping or hopping to a wide foot Malasana. So finding Malasana Deep Yogi Squat here. Really tall through your spine, let the hips drop. Use your elbows to widen the hip. Lift up through your heart. Trying to stack the shoulders right over the hips. And then
Again, taking a big breath. Exhale, push up through those heels, squeeze through the hips. Inhale at the top. Exhale, sink back down into that squat. Finding that wide open hip. Take a big breath here. Exhale, push through your heels, squeeze through the hips, lift and extend, release those hands. And one more time, exhale down into your Malasana squat. Taking your hands, make them really big, planting them on your mat. You can either step or hop into a wide foot plank. Take a breath, move through a chaturanga. Inhale up into your cobra, wide feet. Exhale to your downward facing dog, and then slide right back into that plank. So again, you can either step halfway in and out, or you can hop 4 breath cycles. Here we go. Use your belly button to pull in and support. Through each movement, take a breath. Exhale in chaturanga. Inhale, lift. Exhale into your downward facing dog. And this time, we're going to walk back into our Malasana squat once more. And this time, we don't need to take our elbows too wide in our stance. We're going to be keeping our hands forward. So you can decide if you want to just keep it here. And then if you want to play with some mobility, just taking your knee and tapping forward and forward. You don't have to tap the mat. So if this is, again, if it's uncomfortable and you just need to kind of figure out where you're at, that's one thing. But if it's painful, then we need to back out of the pose. So you can kind of decide where you're at, just working through some mobility. Finishing out whatever you need to balance yourself out. Bringing it back center and taking a big breath. Exhale, push through your heels. Lift tall, all the way open. Stepping your feet back in. Finding mountain at the bottom of your mat. Standing really, really tall, shoulders roll back. Take a deep inhale. Exhale and dive down. Walk into a plank. And from here, just extending that right toe. Take a big inhale. Exhale, draw that toward the back of the tricep, the back of the shoulder. Inhale, 3. You can do this with your left knee on the mat as well. 2. And 1. If you can touch that tricep, see if you can chaturanga and rest your thigh bone. Inhale, 3-leg dog. And exhale, put that back down into your downward dog, pedal it out. Strengthen through the arms. Inhale your left leg way up. Exhale, slide into plank. Reach through that big toe. Exhale toward the back of the left arm. So again, you can drop your right knee, or you can stay extended. Let's do 3 and 2, trying to get that knee way up high on your arm, and 1. And if you can touch, then bend the elbows. See if you can set that thigh bone. Breathe, 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 reach forward through the head, and then inhale into your 3-leg dog. Exhale, walk it forward and through. Relax into your forward fold. Inhale, lift up. Bring the big toes together. Exhale, interlock your fingers behind you. Roll the shoulders back and open. Folding fan. So if you want to extend the index fingers, you can. Send that heart upward. Inhale to lift your heart up and reach your hands down. Exhale, navel pulls in, heart dives over the knees. And soften the knees. Lift the pinkies overhead. Push through your heels. Inhale, lift tall. Exhale, hinge. Belly pulls in, relax the head and the neck. 2 more times. Push through the heels, lift through the heart. Hinge. 1 more time. Push and lift. And exhale, hinge. Rainbow those fingers overhead. Release the hands down. And from here, just taking this into a kneeling posture. do a little bit of stretching on the mat to finish off our quick but powerful practice today. So taking it to your tabletop, extending that right leg back, nice and flat through your spine. Exhale, stepping forward to the outside of the hand. You can slide your back foot back. So finding this lizard lunge, you can have your hands on blocks here if you want. And if you'd like, just taking that right hand and just rocking the thigh bone wide and then in. And then from here, extending back. Again, your hands can be on the mat or they can be on blocks. Pull these toes back, reach back through the sits bones in this half split. Feel like you're trying to square the hips up, so you're drawing that right hip backward to even out with the left one. Heart is reaching forward, trying to dive over the big toe. And then walking forward, bending back into that front knee. If you have room to take it down low, go for it. And then just pushing up onto the back toes and onto your hands, reaching through here. Oh, planting your foot, I'm sorry. And we're gonna walk our hands around, going to the blade of the foot, turning your toes to the same direction. Inhaling your right arm up, exhale, just letting the hips lower, reach long. Side stretch down the left side body, get tall through the crown of the head. Reach through your right fingers and your left foot. Inhale, lift back up. And then exhale, just switching into the other lunge. So bringing that right foot back, left foot forward. Your left foot is off to the left side of your hands. And your toes are ankling out in your lizard lunge. So your back knee, just get it comfortable on the mat. Toenails to the mat behind you. And if you'd like to, you can just use your left hand to move through that range of motion in that hip. Nothing painful, just keeping the edges of the pose exactly where they need to be. Not painful, but just feeling where the stopping point is for your stretch. And then bringing that back center, bringing it down to the forearms if you like. Sinking into that lizard lunge. Letting the hips fall, tailbone is kind of tucked under, settling into that lunge. Bringing it back up to the palms of the hands, back toes tuck under and lift. And then just taking your feet and rotating, turning your toes to the same direction, and that left arm is going to extend long. So you can lower that right hip, and my foot always wants to slide over. That's fine. You can adjust your stance how you need to. Finding that side body stretched on the right side, extend long through the fingers on the left arm and the foot of the right foot. Lots of good breath. And then closing that back up. Stepping back into your plank downward dog real quick. And then lowering it all the way down to a child's pose. Planting your mind's eye. Just resting the center of your head on the mat. And take a deep inhale. Inhale the good stuff. Exhale the bad stuff. Inhale the positive, exhale the negative. And as you inhale, feel that breath expand into the ribs, into the belly, the sides of the ribs, edges of the armpits. Let the arms get loose. As you exhale, feel your body melt a little bit to the mat, a little bit heavier. Feel the limbs get a little looser. Feel the muscles in the face soften and relax. Inhale, expand. Exhale, release. And take one more breath cycle. And keeping the arms very loose and heavy, begin at the navel and draw the navel back into the spine. Use those core bandha muscles to draw your body into alignment, stacking each vertebrae, letting the arms just go along for the ride. They're kind of just heavy weight. Shoulders roll back and open. Feel the neck vertebrae stack. Nice and tall. Oh, nice work, guys. Thanks for joining me for your practice today. Go ahead and have a seat. Sit comfortably on your mat. Shoulders roll back and open. Good stuff. On your sits bones, feel the arms heavy and loose. Feel the drop of the shoulders down the back. Lots of space between your ears and shoulders. And just take a moment, acknowledge your accomplishments with your practice today. Acknowledge the challenges that you rose to meet. Take a moment to kind of celebrate that you took the time for practicing today. Take that moment of gratitude for your practice. And take a very full breath. And just let it go. Bring your hands together, matching your palms to your forehead for good thoughts, to your lips for good words, to your heart for good deeds. Take one more very full breath. And just let it go. We finished. Namaste. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you next time.